Millions flock to Mecca for the annual pilgrimage, a duty for every able-bodied Muslim who can afford it. But beyond the ritual scene, there appears a controversial and sad aspect of the Holy Mecca, which began to lose its spirituality and historical identity. Many Saudi intellectuals, mainly from the Mecca region, are full of anger in response to the government's plans to wipe out the legacy of Islam and replace it with skyscrapers, Starbucks and malls. One cannot help but feel sad seeing the Kaaba, a dot so small between all those glass and iron giants. Long before Islam, Arabs didn't dare live in the circle of Al-Haram, meaning the sacred area of the mosque. They spent their days in the holy city and moved out with nightfall. Saudi authorities have authorized the destruction of hundreds of antiquities, such as an important 18th century Ottoman fortress in Mecca that was razed to make way for the Abraj al-Bayt towers, a move the Turkish foreign minister condemned as cultural genocide. An ancient house belonging to the Prophet Muhammad was recently razed to make room for a public toilet facility. An ancient mosque belonging to Abu Bakr has now been replaced by an ATM machine. And the sites of Muhammad's historic battles at Uhud and Badr have been paved to put up a parking lot. Sami Angawi, the founder and former director of Mecca's Hajj Research Center and opponent of the destruction of Mecca's historic sites, estimates that over 300 antiquity sites in Mecca and Medina have already been destroyed, such as the house of the first Caliph, Abu Bakr, which was leveled to make room for the Mecca Hilton Hotel. According to Ivor McBurney, a spokesman for Hilton, we saw the tremendous opportunities to tap into Saudi Arabia's religious tourism segment. It's not just our heritage, it's the evidence of the story of the prophets. What's the difference between history and legend? Evidence. It is incredible how little respect is paid to the house of God. The government accelerated the tempo of destruction of the Islamic ancient sites during the course of the Iraqi occupation of Kuwait. The Saudi government capitalized on the concentration of the world attention on the Iraqi-Kuwait crises. Thus it decided to wipe out shrines and houses of the Prophet and his companions. A pamphlet published by the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, endorsed by Abdulaziz al-Sheikh, the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, and distributed at the Prophet's Mosque, where the Prophet Muhammad, Abu Bakr and Umar bin al-Khattab are buried, reads, "The green dome shall be demolished and the 3 graves flattened in the Prophet's Mosque." The Permanent Committee for the Religious Jurisdiction in Saudi Arabia replied, "The construction of the dome by those people who built the grave of the Prophet is religiously forbidden, haram, and those who did it have sinned. Building upon graves and constructing domes are tools of association, shirk, with the worship of God." This shocking sentiment was echoed in a speech by the late Muhammad ibn al-Uthaymeen, one of Saudi Arabia's most prominent Wahhabi clerics, who delivered sermons in Mecca's Grand Mosque for over 35 years. "We hope one day we'll be able to destroy the green dome of the Prophet Muhammad," he said in a recording. Writing in response to the article, Prince Turki Al Faisal said that Saudi Arabia was spending more than $19 billion preserving and maintaining these two holy sites. We are aware how important the preservation of this heritage is, not just to us but to the millions of Muslims from around the world who visit the two holy mosques every year. It is hardly something we are going to allow to be destroyed. Today there are no fewer than 20 structures remaining in Mecca that date back to the time of the Prophet 1,400 years ago. The litany of this lost history includes the house of Khadija, the wife of the Prophet, demolished to make way for public lavatories. The house of Abu Bakr, the Prophet's companion, now the site of the local Hilton Hotel. The house of Ali Uraid, the grandson of the Prophet, and the mosque of Abu Qubays, now the location of the King's Palace in Mecca. The cemetery of Medina is the first exclusive Muslim burial ground. According to Islamic tradition, its area was selected by Prophet Muhammad himself. Baqi' al-Gharqad, also called Jannat al-Baqi', is situated at the southeast end of the old centre of Medina, a short distance away from the Prophet's mosque. It has been the cemetery of Medina from early Islamic times up to the present. The Baqi' is the burial place of many companions of the Prophet such as Uthman ibn Mad'un, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Uthman ibn Affan, the third Caliph, the Prophet's wives and his daughter Fatima al-Zahra, and among them are the tombs of the famous jurist Malik bin Anas, of Muhammad's uncle al-Abbas, the ancestor of the Abbasid dynasty, and of four Imams of the Shia, Imam Hassan ibn Ali, Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein, Zain al-Abdin, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, and Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, the founder of the Shia school of thought. Over the centuries, a number of mausolea, praying sites, have been erected over the graves of many Sufis, religious scholars and other venerated persons buried there. Some of the most important of these buildings was the mausoleum of the Ahlul Bayt, as can be seen in photographs taken prior to the destructions of 1925 and 26 at the hands of the Wahhabis. During the period of their first, mainly indirect control over Mecca and Medina, at the beginning of the 19th century, 1805 to 1812, the Wahhabis have demolished many of the tombs there, including those at the Baqi'. Following their second occupation of Medina in December 1925, they began to demolish the mausolea, with the exception of the tomb of the Prophet, and even the simplest gravestones in April 1926. The behavior of all visitors to the Baqi' is strictly controlled by Saudi religious police. Women are generally prevented from entering the cemetery. They have a big complex about idolatry and anything that relates to the Prophet.